Yo, what's going on, guys? We're back here with another year of the NBA playoff preview predictions. I'm not a fan of either the Clippers or the Mavericks, so there is going to be no bias. How this works is there are going to be timestamps. If you want, you can just skip to the very end, the last minute or two of the video. I will give my honest prediction, who I think will win the playoff, why, and how the other team that might lose could still win this. So I'll give both sides, and this video will talk about the Mavericks, and then we'll also talk about the Clippers. So timestamps will be there. Hit that like and subscribe. Let's get right into it. Let's go. On the screen right now, you see kind of a head-to-head matchup of stats that I pulled from StatHead and StatMuse just to show you the difference defensive ratings and offensive ratings. We're going to start off with the Dallas Mavericks, who are the 8th in offensive rating, 15th in defensive rating, 2.8 net rating, and are a top 15 three-point shooting team. Yes, the Clippers have won the head-to-head matchup, but when you look at this team, this is a Dallas team that I very much like. Granted, we know that if we look over at the end, Dallas has been a team that's been hot, okay, while the Clippers have been a bit more volatile. And I think that's the thing that the Mavericks are going to have working in their favor as we head up into this matchup, which as of right now, the Clippers are the 4th seed, Mavericks are the 5th seed, and the Mavs are 8-2 in their last 10. Clippers are 7-3, which again, both teams have been very good on the season. I think the one thing, if we just go position by position, how does this team match up against the Clippers? Now, for me, when I look at the starting lineup and what they're going to run, we all know that the team that's probably going to be out there, Luka Doncic, Derrick Jones Jr., Kyrie Irving. This is where it gets a bit difficult. Are we going to go Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington? Because that's seemingly what they've been doing over the last several weeks since they acquired those guys. If we go back to when they were fully healthy, their starting lineup as of late: PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., Daniel Gafford, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving. And if we compare that to the Clippers, how are they going to match up? Obviously, Luka and Kyrie aren't going to be locking people up. They're not going to be sitting there being defensive maestros on Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So as of late, I wonder if they're going to run Amir Coffey. I don't know if he'll be out there for the playoffs for the Clippers, but that's where it gets interesting, where I think James Harden and Kyrie will probably go up against each other. That's where, if I was, that's where I get confused. Like, who do you guys match up? Because I think PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., Dante Exum, Josh Green, and I would say those are like their main defenders out there. And for perimeter wise, I think can do a good job of containing James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi. While I do believe Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively are the better defensive centers in the matchup and offensive centers in the matchup against Zubac, Tice, and their bench, which it gets hard to think, because I look at, and Plumlee, of course, but I think the Clippers might have the rebounding advantage there. The Clippers on the season are the 20th rebounding team, while on the season the Dallas Mavericks are the 19th. So they literally rebound the ball the same amount of times. So this is where it gets confusing, where starting lineup: James Harden, we assume Terrence Mann, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Zubac is going to be there. If I go with, I think right here, Luka and Kawhi are going to go up against James Harden, Terrence Mann. Paul George is going to go up against probably Derrick Jones Jr., PJ Washington against Kawhi, Zubac against Daniel Gafford, and Zubac, Tice, and Plumlee against Gafford and Lively. I think that matchup, the Mavericks win right there. You got then Kawhi going up against, this is where you start to look at the Mavericks and you're like, okay, who are they going to throw out there in terms of backups? And we obviously know Dante Exum is going to be out there, and I think that's going to be a good matchup. I think Dallas is going to be more athletic and longer than, because off the bench behind PJ, you're going to have some Maxi Kleber, which the Maxi Kleber minutes aren't the best. Behind Derrick Jones Jr. at the wing, I love Josh Green coming in. I love Dante Exum coming in as the guard, and we know they're going to close up their lineup. Like, I really do think the starting lineup of Luka, Kyrie, Derrick, PJ, and Daniel will play most of the game, with their 6-man kind of being Derek Lively coming in for Daniel Gafford, and then Josh Green, Dante Exum, and Tim Hardaway. And that's 9 guys, and I could see that getting choked down to 8 guys. And like I said, I think Luka, Kyrie, and Dante and Tim Hardaway are the guards who will go up against James Harden, Terrence Mann, Russell Westbrook, and Norman Powell. Right there in terms of, I think defensively, the Mavericks have the better defensive unit, even though the Clippers are, the 4th best offense, while the Mavericks are the 8th best offense, but the Mavericks are the 15th best defense. Clippers are the 17th best defense. So, when you look at them very close, they're very evenly matched. But let's go over to the Clippers. I think right here where you look at it, I think the Mavericks have the size advantage in terms of athleticism and defensive length, while the Clippers have more shooting power with their bench from what we see. Let's go over to the Clippers. I kind of touched on this earlier. I think the Clippers do have the bench and the star power. The Clippers can go so deep. I do believe the Mavericks might have them beat in terms of like size and length, but I think the rebounding battle, and I know Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively are great rebounders, but I think Zubats and Tice and Plumlee, and these are 2 teams that are so evenly matched from their numbers. As we showed you earlier, they're all very, very close to one another. For me, the biggest thing is when we look right here, James Harden, Terrence Mann, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Zubats. I think Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they're going to be going against Derrick Jones and PJ Washington, who are good defenders, but they could also, it's Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And the whole thing for me, that this is the 4th best offense in the league. 4th best offense in the league. I just don't know. And the Dallas Mavericks are a team that give up on a nightly basis about 115 points a night, while the Clippers are a team that scores almost 116 points a night, and they love to shoot their threes. And I talked about this when we were talking about the Mavericks, that Luka Doncic, Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Kyrie will have those 4 dudes will have to go against James Harden, Terrence Mann, Russell Westbrook, Norman Powell, and maybe Amir Coffey and Paul George, like as some of the guys who are going to be playing point guard, shooting guards. And then on the wing, you're going to have either Norman Powell, Paul George, Amir Coffey, Kawhi, if they want to go big or small. I don't even know if that would be how you would phrase that. But and then you go to the versatility that the Clippers have. And then at power forward, they're running Kawhi Leonard, PJ Tucker, Zubats. I mean, not power forward, but PJ Tucker, Kawhi Leonard, whatever they need right there. And they still have Bones Highland if people got hurt and they needed a scoring. They still got Kobe Brown if PJ Tucker or Amir Coffey or Kawhi got hurt. And then the centers, they got 3 centers: Zubats, Daniel Tice, Mason Plumlee. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Lively and Gafford, holistically, both of them are better than any of the 3 centers on the Clippers. But I think the Clippers center by committee might just wear down the Mavericks. I've talked about this before, physically imposing your will through rebounds. And these teams are so evenly matched up with their stats. And that's where it gets scary when you look at this, because I think this is a team when head to head, obviously they've come up very close to one another. This is a game that also, when they've played each other in the past, the Clippers, the Mavericks in both games were way more dependent on the 3-point shot, while the Clippers were way more dependent in scoring inside. And the Clippers won the rebounding battle in those 3 games, and won the season series, while they also scored about 117 points a night. So if you guys want to go back, and we can refer back to this little graph right here, the Clippers, they were a team that they came out, and hypothetically, the Mavericks are a more potent offense in scoring. And obviously, this is a different Mavericks team. Also, they went 2-1, the Clippers, but the Mavericks are a different team since the All-Star break. And I think the biggest thing here is the Clippers did turn the ball over a lot during those games, but they were able to be the bigger team, get to the free throw line, and have a more effective field goal percentage. And I still think that's the big thing with the Clippers, with them being this team that can just cut through competition like a surgeon with precision, and you got to take, what they're able to do with, like, you got to credit them. So the biggest thing for me when I look at like a team like the Los Angeles Clippers, and I think Clippers record since like February 24th, 2024, like, what is their record since then? They've been 14-12, while the Mavericks since February 24th have been 17-8. So clearly one team is hotter than the other, and I'm not saying that there's a problem, because I think they've done a good job of winning, and I also think they've kind of started to coast because they were just waiting for the playoffs. And I'm a guy who I've been waiting for this Clippers team to be able to do it. So for me, the biggest thing is like, I personally think the Clippers have more talent. They have the deeper roster. I do worry about the age, okay? Clippers age, let me search that up. Average age, I think is... No, they don't say how old that Clippers average age is, but I'm trying to see. Yeah, no, it doesn't. I think it says 29, 30 years old. They're the second oldest team, and it might be. They're one of the older teams. Seemingly so, is from what I'm seeing. So the oldest team, average age, the youngest team is the Grizzlies, and the oldest team are the Lakers, but the Clippers are the 8th oldest team, while the Mavs are the 10th oldest. So that's not really something that matters, but they are a team that I think one of their biggest, there's been dark moments, but I think they'll figure it out. So let us get to the main part of this. We're going to put this to end up the video. Who is going to win this? If you guys have just skipped to like I told you guys, we would just do a prediction. If you guys just skipped and didn't care to hear this, it's hard, man. It's hard. I think the Clippers, I think this is a coin toss. I think it's a fifth. Any team's going to win this. I would not be surprised if this is a 7-game series. I really do. I think this is going to probably be one of the best series in all of the playoffs. I think this is going to be ridiculous. And that's where I get torn. I think this is going to be a situation where whatever I say is not going to be right. I think the Clippers have the best roster they've had in years, and they're destined to, if they can, get past the first round. I think if they get past the first round, they're going to go deep in the playoffs. But they've had some inconsistencies, and I don't know if we can trust James Harden and Russell Westbrook in the playoffs. And will they be able to match up with Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford? And will the length and athleticism of the Mavericks keep them? While they also, like, clutch-wise, I think Kyrie and Luka are way more clutch than Paul George. But while the Clippers, I think their star power and their overwhelming amount of firepower offensively and just star talent could really overwhelm, and then the center by committee of Zubats and Plumlee and Tice, like, they can just wear down Lively and Gafford, and Lively's just a rookie. So that's where I get hard, and I think this is going to be a 7-game series, at the least 6 games. And I think whatever I say is going to be the wrong answer, but I think it's going to be the Dallas Mavericks. Nothing against them. I love the Clippers, and I think I can be wrong. I want to be wrong and have the Clippers go ahead, but I just think the Dallas Mavericks 17-8 over the last 25 games, while Clippers in the last 26 they've been 14-12. So I think that's the thing. I think momentum and consistency is going to be why I choose the Mavericks here. But again, I could very well see that I'm wrong, and that the Mavericks go ahead and, come up short and the Clippers beat them. That easily could happen. Would not be surprised. And that's honestly where I'd want to hear your guys' opinions on this one. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because of the whole situation with just the Clippers roster being so darn good top to bottom. And I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. So that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts, and if there was anything I might have missed, anything you guys would have liked to have heard, let me know, because I think this is probably where, when I look at this, I think it's how I view maybe the best and the best series all of playoffs we're gonna get in the first round. It's unreal. But that's it. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff you made to the end. Tell me. Bye.